Hello, everybody. Welcome to Retro Pitches. We're here for our second Retro Pitch session at Optimism Town Hall, and we are going to be celebrating and raising awareness for public goods creators on optimism who have contributed to the Optimism collective governance over just about the past year. So I'm so pleased to be here with everybody. We have amazing people who have been following the work for a long time and admire very much, and I'm very much looking forward to learning more about your work and hearing your pitches. So yeah, we'll get started. I'm going to share a presentation, about a 5-minute presentation or so, to give a little overview about Retro Pitches and where we're at. I'll briefly introduce everybody's work, and then we'll pass it over, and everybody will get about 5 minutes to pitch and present. If anyone wants to give a quick wave or say hello or anything like that, then feel free as well. Thank you so much for being here, and hope that everybody enjoys. I hope that everybody's watching. Thanks for watching. I hope that you have a great event and a great episode too. All right, you should be able to see my screen. We're about to embark on Retro Pitches, some governance games to celebrate and promote governance on optimism, help the collective evaluate impact and so forth. It's an exciting event series that we piloted last year, and we brought back to support RetroFunding Round 6, where public goods creators showcase their projects and demonstrate their impact on optimism governance. We're going to have one more event. We had an event yesterday that was really great. We heard from the OP Security Council from Alicia, and we heard from Gloria from OpenRank, and I also presented about Optimism Fractal. And we have about 7 projects or so. We have, well, six different speakers, I believe. And then there's a few people from each project, and a couple of the different organizations have multiple projects. So we're going to hear from CharmVerse with Chris, Delegate Match with Suede and Katabi. We're going to hear from maybe Gloria. I think she's going to join with Open Rank Network, Token Engineering with Idrees, and Antoine is going to be presenting deliberative processes and the definition of profit. There's also been 1 or 2 people who registered late and stuff like that, so that might be a slight miss, slightly off now, but very excited to hear from everybody and hear everybody's pitches. For anybody who's not familiar, this is at Optimism Town Hall. It's an event that we've been doing for about 6 months now. You can learn at Optimism Town Hall. It's a collaborative forum for discussions about the Superchain with a special focus on optimism governance and community coordination. So everybody's welcome to join these events. We usually host them on Thursdays at 18 UTC, and they provide an interactive space where people can learn about optimism's development, explore opportunities, and contribute to the collective and the future. We have some fun community agenda games where people can vote with on-chain tokens and so forth. So you can learn more at optimismtownhall.com. But this week we're doing a special Retro Pitches series too. So we invite everyone to register for the events both this week and in future weeks as well. We'll be returning on November 21st after a 2-week break after the RetroFunding season to learn more, and feel free to invite friends. It's a great opportunity to get more involved in optimism, and we love to hear everybody's thoughts about optimism. This is on the Optimistics calendar. Optimistics is the organization that is presenting the Optimism Town Hall, as well as Retro Pitches and several other initiatives that we have going on. You can check out lou.mosh/optimistics to register for Optimism Town Hall, as well as the other events that we host, Optimism Fractal and Eden Fractal. So I mentioned community agenda game. It's called Kagendas, really fun. So if anybody has any topic you want to propose in the future, then you can do so for future town halls. And we have an FAQ that shows how we do that, how we have topics that you can propose in the snapshot space. So we're going to be focusing on Retro Pitches now, but just want to let people know about Town Hall in general. We produce all videos, and we share all videos on the Eden Creators YouTube channel. So raising awareness for public goods creators so people can learn more, and generally helping people learn about optimism. Eden Creators YouTube channel also publishes Optimism Fractal videos. Usually Town Hall videos right now published at the end of Optimism Fractal videos. So we encourage people to watch these. We've made a bunch of great episodes over time and a bunch of great videos about other things that the Optimistic team has been up to. And looking forward to sharing these videos so everybody can see the videos of all the great pictures today. So you can also check these out at optimismfractal.com/videos with show notes. There's show notes and timestamps for each one. So we'll get to see the presentations from each person with timestamps. And then optimismtownhall.com/videos also has the videos as well. So we're helping to promote and kind of spread out the word, distribute the word. And I already shared that slide, so I'm going to go on to the kind of event overview. So Rosemary shared this post on the Optimism Governance Forum, introducing Retro Pitches. So I think everybody here is familiar, but just as a brief overview, Optimism RetroFunding is awarding up to 3.5 million OP to reward contributions to governance infrastructure, tooling, analytics, and leadership on optimism. So these are kind of like friendly competitions where governance contributors present their project and demonstrate their impact. Every contributor, each contributor will get up to about 5 minutes to showcase their project's impact on optimism governance. As I said, we'll record it and timestamp it, and everybody's welcome to share their screen as well during the presentation. So, or we're also happy to share websites for you. Everybody's welcome to join, and there might be some time for questions as well at the end if we have some time for it, and then or open discussions. And there's also some benefits here, some origins and history about how it started last year. And we're going to try a RetroPolls experiment too. It's still kind of in development where people can vote on projects too. But you can learn more about this on the governance forum post, and I can share more about it in future episodes. I'm Dan Singjoy, by the way. I'm hosting this, so I'm really pleased to be here with you all, and thanks all for being here. For anybody who's not familiar with the RetroFunding, can check out app.optimism.io/RetroPGF to learn more. RetroFunding is, I believe, the biggest public goods funding experiment in the world. There's so many amazing things that have happened. So if you're not involved with Optimism yet, I highly encourage learning about it. There's a huge amount of innovation going here and a great way to get funded by building public goods. And there's about 800 million OP remaining, plus sequencer fees and so forth to contribute across the Superchain to people who create public goods. So even if you're not in this round, there's many other rounds coming up, such as the dev tooling round and several other kinds of rounds and ways to reward public goods creators. So encourage people to learn about it, but today we'll be focusing on governance contributions. You can check out retrolist.app to see there's been about 85 projects who have applied and who have projects such as CharmVerse grants, who will be presenting today, and several others. So just to give a high-level overview, this is part of a series called Retro Season that's presented by Optimistics. It was celebrating the one-year anniversary of RetroFunding, as well as just helping to support RetroFunding round 6. So I'm not sure if I said that correctly, but Optimism Fractal recently had its one-year anniversary. So I kind of mentioned a lot of this stuff together. So, but just a little overview. This is kind of the RetroPitches, RetroPolls. We're aiming to do a Retro Report. We'll see how far we get there. But people can learn more about that at optimistics.io/blog, where you can find about the Retro Season and RetroPolls initiatives. I want to make one quick note too about the team that is hosting this and organizing this. The Optimistics is a team of builders that create open source software, organize events, and develop pro-social games on Superchain. And we do have an application as well that we would love support from reviewers. We host Respect Game events each week that everybody's welcome to join. It happens right before the town hall. And we have an application where you can learn more. I'm sharing my screen right now to show some of the impact metrics, and we have much more there. And also, there was an issue where 3 of our other applications got declined, mistakenly as duplicates. So we'd really appreciate if people could take that into mind. Optimistics tools, Eden Fractal events, and Optimism Town Hall, this event. I have an appeal to the Optimism Foundation to allow us to include all 3 of these because they're currently excluded. So I would just appreciate any reviewers out there to check out Optimism Fractal Respect Game events. We made a lot of great impact. You can learn more at optimismfractal.com, community dedicated to fostering collaboration, awarding public goods creators, and optimizing governance on the Superchain with the weekly respect games and governance processes and so forth. You can see the appeal there for more details. But that's just want to put that word out there, and we really appreciate everybody's consideration as well, and happy to talk more about these things in detail in the future. So for today's guests, as I showed before, there's 6 different projects or 6 different organizations who will be presenting. I'm going to give a quick overview of each one of these projects now, and then we'll pass it over to, I believe we agree that Suede would be sharing Delegate Match first, which happens to be first in this picture too. So we're also going to hear from CharmVerse grants. I think a lot of people know CharmVerse in the community, CharmVerse.io. I'll leave it to Chris to explain, but he has 2 different grants, or him and his team, CharmVerse grants and also RetroFunding application review. You can learn more about at CharmVerse.io, the network for on-chain communities. I actually just started a CharmVerse space for Optimism Fractal recently, so I really appreciate all the work you've been doing there with your team. And you can follow at CharmVerse on X. And there's also an update hub too, where you can find out all the great updates. Deliberative Process on definition of profit, which will be presented by Antoine, who I've been also following for a while and really excited about what he's doing. He's been working with Mission Publiques, and we have 2 other members of the team who are also joining us too, working to invent new models of shared governance for better decisions today and tomorrow. You can learn more about this on the Mission Publiques website, as well as on his blog here. And GovXS from Idrees, I believe, which is an initiative from Token Engineering Academy, which has been doing education and research into improving RetroFunding and improving public goods allocation and so forth. Really appreciating everybody's work and excited to hear from everybody. So you can check out Token Engineering on Twitter and their forum or their blog post for more details. I think we're going to be hearing from OpenRank too, from Gloria, who helped working with trusted user models and OpenRank trusted models too, and self-serve developer ranking platform as well. She spoke yesterday about 2 different applications that OpenRank had built as well, so or 2 different projects as well. So really excited to learn more about these initiatives, openrank.network, I believe it, no, openrank.com, and that is helping build reputation on chain, decentralized reputation protocol. And then I think we have, oh yeah, Delegate Match, as I said, Suede and Kotabi will be presenting the Farcaster frame that helps users to find optimism delegates who match their vision and views in a simple, fun, and fast way by answering multiple choice questions. I had the pleasure to meet Suede actually at an Optimism Fractal event and then tried out the tool. It was quite cool. So really excited to learn more. Delegate Match at XYZ and Delegate Match on Twitter. I should follow all these, but I haven't done so yet from the Optimistics account. And I just pulled up some things there. So oh, and there was one other one just recently. Ken joined, and he'll be presenting Tribuni Telegram Bot 2, which I have not yet learned about, and I'm excited to learn. So you can check out tribuni.versal.app to learn more about this, and we'll hear from Ken shortly. So with that, I believe that Suede will go first. So I hope everybody is having a good time, and I hope everybody's excited to present and hear the amazing presentations that I'm sure we'll hear from the pitchers. So with that, the floor is open. If anybody had any quick questions or comments, then feel free. But otherwise, I see Suede is already presenting, and we got some claps from Ines. So thank you everybody so much, and we can get started. Suede, you are muted right now.
Hi, everybody. My name is Suede. I'm with Delegate Match. We are passionately engaged in exploring innovative solutions for DAO governance. Our team is myself as on design and project management, Katabe, who is our partnerships lead, especially grant partnerships, and Sayonara, who is our dev. And let's start by taking a look at our retro list. This is our grant application. Delegate Match is a Farcaster frame that helps users find optimism delegates who match their vision and values in a simple, fun, and fast way by answering 11 multiple choice questions. The goal is to increase the votable supply of OP, by allowing anyone to find an allowed delegate easily in Farcaster and then funnel them to Optimism Agora to delegate or redelegate to active delegates. So let's do a demo. This is delegatematch.xyz. There's some introductory information here. Our project was seeded by Raid Guild. Raid Guild is a service DAO that provides marketing, design, and development services. If you press the Get Started button, it'll take you over to Warpcast, and this is our frame. There's two routes that you can go from here. There's an education route, and it tells you things like delegation on the Optimism blockchain allows you to assign your voting power to a trusted delegate without transferring your tokens. And then if you click on the let's say I hit back. So if you click on Find Matches, you'll be taken to 11 questions. And I'm going to just take you over to the Figma to show you the questions so that we don't have to go through all of them. The questions are things like, what excites you about optimism? Vision, tech, community. What is the most crucial differentiator on optimism? Superchain, bicameral governance, RetroFunding. So each of the 11 questions has 3 answers. And once you answer the questions, our algorithm will provide recommendations for matching delegates. When that happens, you'll go back to the website and see this page. Congratulations, based on your responses, we've identified the optimism delegates that align most closely with your views and preferences. And then how to read your results and some next steps. An intermediate step here is to mint an originals NFT on Zora. And let's see. This is our NFT mint page. We have 64 collectors of our originals NFTs so far. If you click on, so the top delegate that was recommended for me is butterbum.eth. And if I click on View Delegate, I'm taken to Optimism Agora. And then I can delegate from here. So go into my MetaMask and sign the message. and then that wallet is dedicated to the delegate. It's not a question of whether there's OP in the wallet or not. If it's you delegate, you're actually delegating the wallet. And if there's OP in the wallet, then that voting power goes to that delegate. So let's talk about metrics for a minute. Farcaster frame engagement, we can show that on Airstack. We have 2K total users, likes 302, replies 203, unique users 88, and recasts 103. And this is our Optimism EAS. We've had 627 attestations, which if you divide that by 11, that's the number of people that actually went through the process. 57. Cool. Moving right along. So we are passionately engaged in exploring solutions in optimism delegation. And our impact in RetroFunding 6 included critical inquiries into user experience, impact tracking, and outreach strategies so that the delegation is informed, accessible, accountable, and efficient to all stakeholders.
Sweet. I just want to let you know that was 5 minutes. So if you could wrap it up, I'm really enjoying this and way to go with all this. But if you could wrap it up in the next 30 seconds or so, just make sure we have time for everybody to be able to go. That'd be
Great.
appreciated.
Sounds great. One sec. So we want to standardize delegate data. Scroll has done this very well. We want to do on-chain voting analysis, identify and encourage undelegated token holders to engage in governments. We want to move on and expand to Arbitrum and Base, partnership with Tally, redelegate from, find mechanisms for people to redelegate from inactive to active delegates, and use social graphs so that people can delegate to familiar delegates. And then I'll just point out that we have a Twitter at delegate_match and a Warpcast at Delegate Match. And I invite you to follow us. And thanks so much for listening.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much, Suede. And also thanks to Katavia and the other people on your team as well. Great presentation. And thanks so much for sharing with us. Really excited to see how these all come together. And I suppose we do have, I think, 8 projects in total who will present today. And we only have 35 minutes left, and we have one, so we should probably proceed right along. And I think that Chris is going next, and I see Chris is unmuted, so you can take it away. And also, Chris, you have 2 projects, so if you want to take up to 10 minutes, then you can do so as well.
Cool. My plan here is 5 minutes, but cool. Thank you, Dan, for hosting this and having us. Welcome, everyone. I'll walk you through 2 impactful projects CharmVerse has developed for the Optimism Collective. One is the CharmVerse Grants platform, and the other one is our RetroFunding application review. Both of these are open source software provided to the foundation free of charge. And our goal here is to enhance governance and transparency. And so let's get started with CharmVerse grants. Anyone who's applied to an Optimism grant through the Grants Council has no doubt used CharmVerse. We've really been the end-to-end process for the Grants Council for season 5 and season 6, and even before that. This is where people come to learn about which grants are available and what mission requests are available, where you apply, and then how the Grants Council then intakes it, evaluates it, communicates with them and back to the grants applicants, and just tracks the results of the grants program. And so, in our application for Retro 6, we reported 1,171 grant applications have gone through season 5 and season 6. I think season 6 grants just wrapped up yesterday, so that number is a little bit higher as new grants have come in since we applied. But this is, allowed the Grants Council to move beyond a manual process with kind of a seamless application that allows them to efficiently manage grants. Our key metrics and success here, our MAUs range between 1,000 and 4,400, depending on what's happening at the Grants Council. We've had a net promoter score of 9 out of 10, where our target was 7 out of 10, and we've worked very closely with the Grants Council and specifically with Gunna, the Grants Council lead, who has acknowledged our work many times. One of our favorites is that they were able to achieve a success rate of 97.2% the first time they used our new rubrics feature. And so that was like, essentially 314 applications were able to apply without issue. The features and the benefits of the CharmVerse Grants platform. Like I said, everyone can apply through this. We've added lots of features over time, working closely with the foundation. Most recently, you can create an Optimism project profile through the EAS attestations linked to your Forecaster account. But the key thing for the Grants Council itself is there's integrated rubrics. And so they score each application against a rubric designed for each mission request that they design. They score it, they can comment on it, they can see each other's scores and comments. And they really use this to sort of move along applications or deny applications through this process. There's also commenting on the proposals as a whole, and so it's how they communicate with the applications themselves. They use CharmVerse comments, and the applicants can comment back. And this happens way after the application process closes. And if your application is approved, you come back to CharmVerse to communicate with the Grants Council, report progress, talk about changes, and all of that stuff. And we do milestone tracking. And so now all of the grants define their milestones in this application process. If your grant is approved, those milestones get created as milestones in the CharmVerse system. And then teams can report on their milestones through this process. And so, we really work closely with the Grants Council to kind of align with their goals of transparency and efficiency and making this process as smooth as possible. So now let me move into the second thing we do, which is for retroactive funding. We manage the application review process. And so what this is everyone applies for retro funding through the tool of that season. All of those applications come into CharmVerse, where application reviewers go through it and decide if they qualify. And so sometimes this is denying spam. More often than not, it's just someone's applied but didn't quite meet the criteria. And so all of the tools I talked about in the Grants Council are used here. There is voting for the reviewers. They can comment back and forth. There's actually an appeal process built into the retroactive funding process. So if you do get denied, or you think you were wrongly denied or wrongly marked as spam, you can come and appeal right inside. We've supported rounds 4, 5, and 6 with plans to continue on, and worked with Jonas and that team to really support this process. Before CharmVerse, we did this. Any citizen will know who participated in round 3. We did this in a very large Google Sheet that was quite difficult to manage. And so since this process has moved to CharmVerse, we've really made it a lot more efficient and less prone to error. Finally, I'll say we have processed 416 applications across the last 2 rounds. 271 of them were approved. We've had 46 badge holder reviewers utilize the platform to vote on these projects. And ultimately, using this tool just supports transparency, reduces bias and errors, makes everyone feel involved, gives a way for applicants themselves to come and communicate or at least dispute any of the results of the retroactive funding application process. So that's it. CharmVerse grants, retro funding application review. I'd be happy to answer any questions people have personally. You can find me on Farcaster, ccarella.eth. And, just really love supporting the collective, love being a member of the collective. And once again, thanks for having us.
All right. Thank you so much, Chris. That was an awesome presentation, and thanks so much for all the great work. I suppose you do have 3 minutes left or so, and you mentioned questions. So if anybody had any quick questions for Chris, or if there's anything else you wanted to add, then we could have a bit of time for that before we move on. I'll also say too, I'm in those metrics. I've made I mentioned there's 4 retrofitting applications, and I made like 9 mission applications. So I've enjoyed using CharmVerse over the past months. So thanks a lot for all that. I see
Awesome.
that.
Yeah, maybe I'll just take 30 seconds because the retro funding application process is something most people don't see. And so how that works is for each retro season, badge holders apply to review. And you know, in Retro 3, we have over 1,000 applications, and we had a huge team of badge holders just reviewing all these applications. In Retro 3, before we had the forecaster requirements, there was tons of spam. So it was like a lot of heavy lifting. And so you know, when you come to vote on any retro funding application here, it has gone through the review process, which is 5 badge holders are assigned to each proposal. They come to consensus, you know, majority rule. So if 3 people approve that it meets the requirements, it goes in. This is not a decision on whether you like or don't like the process. It's whether this proposal meets the rules. And if 3 people deny it, then it is rejected and then can go into the appeal process where 5 new reviewers come in and can make their own independent decision. And so I think everyone has had, lots of people have had experience with the grants process, and fewer people have had experience with the application review process. But cool, I'm a voter in the metrics category, and so I'm excited to see this next presentation for GovX.
Okay, super cool. Well, thanks for that and those extra details, Chris. And yeah, very great work. It's well organized. I see Rosemary clapping too. Shout out to Rosemary too for helping to organize the event. I said it before we started recording, but she's done amazing work with the art and inviting everybody as well, and getting great public goods creators like Chris and everybody else inspired to join. So really appreciate all the work, and I'm looking forward to seeing. I see Idrees has, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, has the GovXS open. So I suppose I did mention if anybody had any questions or comments, because he had a bit of time. So if anybody had any quick questions or comments for Chris, then feel free. And also, I just wanted to mention too, if any of you does want to share any links to their work, feel free to share it in the Zoom chat so people can see. And also, we have a couple of chats that people can share it in. I mentioned Optimism Fractal. We have a Discord with a community that might be interested in checking out links. And I started up an Optimism Fractal, Optimism Town Hall Telegram too. So I'll share that here. And there's no need to share links, but if any of you wanted to share links, then feel free. And we're also happy to add links in the video description too, so people can learn more about that when we promote the work on social media. So if anybody had any quick comments on CharmVerse, then we'll give a couple seconds for that, and then we'll pass it on to Idrees with GovX from Token Engineering. And it looks like everybody's muted, so thanks, Chris, and we'll pass it on. And also, Idrees, am I pronouncing your name correctly? I think I asked you before, but it's a little bit difficult. Idrees, is that it?
Yeah, it's correct. It's
Okay.
correct.
Okay, sounds good. Well, you can take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. So, hello everyone. I am Muhammad Idrees, and I am representing here GovXS, which is a research initiative under the Token Engineering Academy, which is a recipient of Optimism RetroPGF round 2 and 3. So now we are working on this GovX project, which was partially part of Optimism mission request to evaluate the voting rules and voting design for RetroPGF rounds, previous RetroPGF rounds. So we extended our work to this project, which went beyond that mission request, and we explored the different metrics of evaluation for the RetroPGF round. So I will briefly introduce my team. We have a team of 4 experts. So Nimrod is a PhD in social choice theory. Bremen is also a PhD candidate of social choice theory. And Angela Creighton is CEO of TE Academy, and she's leading this project. And I myself am a blockchain researcher and have modeling and simulations, working in modeling and simulations domain. So in this GovX research group, we basically created an evaluation framework to analyze the previous rounds of RetroPGF, and based on that analysis, we suggested some recommendations which can be applied in future RetroPGF rounds in order to make them robust and resilient to different kind of malicious behaviors. So as part of this analytics project, we created an evaluation framework which consists of this detailed mathematical framework which formally defines all different voting rules from round 1 to round 4, quadratic, mean, median, and normalized median. And based on those formal definitions, we evaluate these voting rules against the metrics like robustness and strategy proofness, alignment to ground truth. And in this evaluation framework, we also done some agent-based modeling, which can be used in order to simulate previous voting rounds as well, and also we can use that in future in order to evaluate any different voting rule which will be applied in future retro PGF rounds. So on our GitHub, the complete agent-based modeling framework is also available. It is very intuitive and user-friendly interface. So anyone can plug in any new voting rule in this framework, and he can simulate that against the with the uh, exemplary data also, but you can use the actual data of any previous round in order to simulate that voting rule and see the impact of that on final allocation of fundings on different projects. So finally, I want to present this application which is on our which is available on the forum. So we have 5 different deliverables in this application. First one is the voting design with mathematical specification, which is in this paper which I presented earlier. So this defines all the voting rules from round 1 to round 4 mathematically, so that it can be used to analyze and simulate them. We developed a 360-degree evaluation framework based on Optimism RetroFunding objectives, and this framework can be used to analyze these voting rules against the objectives set by Optimism Foundation. And we define the evaluation metrics, which include robustness, bribery, and alignment with ground truth and strategy proofness. And as a result of this analysis, we found out that there are some serious vulnerabilities in previous round 4s, that none of the round 1 to round 4 was strategy proof, which means that they are not incentive compatible, and any voter can improve their results by lying about their preferences. So this is a major flaw which we found in previous retro PDGF rounds. And in order to accommodate that, we also suggested 2 solutions which we can use in order to make Optimism retro PGF strategy proof, and as well as resistance to malicious behavior. And with this evaluation framework, we aim that in future rounds, this framework can be used to design any evaluation round. And as there is so much on stake, and Optimism Foundation is destined to optimize their grants process, so that any project which is producing impact, they can get the maximum funds. So this framework can be used for any future retro PGF rounds to design and then evaluate them. Thank you. That's it.
All right. Thank you so much, Idrees. And big shout out to the token engineering team and the GovXS work that you've done. That's really valuable work to help improve future rounds and to assess those risks. So really appreciate it. I see Rosemary put it into heart. If there's any last thing you want to say, like another like 10, 20 seconds, I know the timer ran out, but if you want to conclude with anything else, then feel free, or else we can pass it on to, I believe, Antoine will be speaking next.
I will share all the resources related to this GovX project, including the articles, our evaluation framework, and our research, so that anyone can analyze that and see that how different previous rounds were impacted by certain metrics, and how Optimism Foundation can apply those suggestions in order to make this retro PGF robust in future rounds. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, sounds great. Well, you're welcome, and thank you. I encourage people to look into your work, as well as I encourage everybody to look into everybody's work who's presented today. And by the way, for anybody watching, we'll have the links in the description too, where you can find more details about all these projects. So with that, Thanks once again, Idrees, and thanks to the team that you're working with. And I see Antoine is unmuted, and he said before we started, there was a word to say hello in French, au revoir or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but hello and
Bonjour.
bonjour,
Bonjour.
bonjour. And also, you're joined by Andrea and Ines, if I'm pronouncing names
Yes.
correctly, who are also working with you too. So, yeah, looking forward to hearing your presentation and your work with the deliberative processes. So you can feel free to take it away whenever you're ready. Also,
Yeah, thanks.
if you
We
could,
don't need the shared screen anymore.
okay, if you could just stop sharing your screen, just so that okay, there we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect. Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. So my name is Antoine. I am with Andrea and Ines, and together we had the chance to design and deploy the deliberative process on the definition of profit. And maybe I will start. I will do the presentation in 4 points. The first one is answering the question, where does it come from? So why did we do that? The second question is, what was it? So what did we do? The third is why we see that as a public good for the collective. And the fourth question is what we learned and what we want to do for the next steps. So where does it come from? It comes from a pessimistic and an optimistic source. The pessimistic is that we see that governance, as we know it, collective decision making, is not really working for the 21st century. We have tools that do not work, and that applies to traditional politics, but also to decentralized governance. And we know all the problems of DAOs, we know all the problems of low voter turnout, of factions, of wars on social media, and things that are very destructive on power concentration, and that all those questions that are existing in DGov, but also in Web3. So the optimistic thing is that there are a lot of experiments and experience of what is called deliberative governance or citizens' participation or citizens' assemblies, and they are trying to find a new way of taking collective decisions. And these are called, as I said, deliberative processes. So what it is, basically it's 3 bricks. You take randomly selected groups of citizens or constituents, you put them in a process of facilitated discussion and exchange. So it's and information, so they get informed, and it's a bit what we like to say is what the people think when they think. So it's a process whereby people get the chance to get an opinion on complex topics, which is not the case when you just ask people on the street, or if you read through a feed, it's very difficult to really weight the arguments. So that's sortition, so cognitive diversity, plus an informed process, plus an intersubjective and human process, which is very important, because as a human species, we love to be with another. We also hate that, but we love it. And it's very something very deep anchored in our nature. So a deliberative process brings all that together to talk on public decisions, on collective decisions. So that's what it is. So why we, how we applied that? Together with the Optimism Foundation, we decided to run a pilot on a deliberative process to understand if that could help the collective and the governance of the collective beyond other tools that we have, the badge holders, the discussions on forums, and all the tools of governance that we have seen just before us and that we will see after. And we ran that project on a very difficult question, a very difficult topic, which was the definition of profit. So very concretely, we had a group of page holders that were randomly selected and went through a series of 3 online meetings facilitated by Andrea, Ines, and myself with observation from the foundation. And we then worked on that question of what should be considered profit in RetroFunding. Chris was one of the lucky participants. So hello, Chris. I remember we talked together in one of the subgroups. Maybe now, why we see that as a public good? We see that as a public good because that kind of process can help. And we are going to share the findings of the research done by Eliza from the governance team of the foundation. And the finding is that people came together and were able to exchange opinions. And we had a lot of feedback of participants saying, okay, it was the first time I could really exchange. Maybe I had a very different opinion from someone else, or I never met actually that other badge holder. We just were talking over social media, but it was very nice to have that interaction and to build something to talk about the trade-offs. So for us, it's a public good because it helps work on very difficult discussions in a collaborative and deliberative way, in a constructive way. But it has been a pilot, so we have learned a lot, and two things we have learned. The first one is that it reduces the conflict and noise around the decision. So we think that it's a very good proof of work. It works. So the principle works, and we would love to go on working on that. The second learning is, of course, that it needs to be very well designed relative to the topic. So difficult topic like the definition of profit needs a very thorough thinking on the design, and that was a bit short on that side. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Antoine. Well timed too, as you roast my classman. Very nice, very nice. I guess I'll quickly say too, I mentioned I've been following your work, and I saw Andrea just shared Eliza's research, which is on the governance forum. When is deliberation useful for optimism? I just read that like 2 days ago. It was a very interesting post. So I appreciate your work. And also, we've also been working on something quite similar with Optimism Fractal and Eden Fractal for the past few years. We do randomized breakout rooms and deliberative sessions too. So at some point, it'd be very cool to follow up and see about how we can collaborate and so forth.
Yeah, I wanted to get in touch since a long time with you, so it's a perfect occasion. We can we can catch up after.
Okay, very cool. Likewise, too. When I saw your work, I discovered it like 6 months ago. I was like, "Wow, this is amazing! How did I not know about it?" So, let's definitely follow up and talk soon. And I see Suede putting up the hearts too. So great to see. If there's anything else you want to share, any last thoughts? I know you wrapped it up right there. If you have like any quick links or anything you want to share before we pass it on, I think we just have one more speaker. We have 10 minutes left, so we'll hear from Ken momentarily. Welcome, young SB, by the way. Thanks for joining. Had the pleasure to meet him at
maybe Andreas or Andrea or Ines, if you want to add something. I don't know. No? Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, I recommend checking out the link that Andrea shared, and if you want to share any links in the chat, Antoine, then feel free. And then I suppose we can pass it on to Ken. Thank you, Antoine and Ines and Andrea. Once again, Ken's is muted right now. So Ken, do you hear us? Ken is planning to speak with what is it? The Tribuni Telegram bot up, and I see Ken is unmuted and on camera. Hey, Ken, nice to see you.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Is it my turn now?
Yes, it is.
Amazing. Hey guys, I hope to not take too much of your time today. I will show you Tribuni, a Telegram bot we built for delegates in Optimism. And I'll share my screen. What you're seeing on screen right now is our website. Our slogan is Find Your Tribe Now, and we believe Tribuni is the easiest way for anybody to organize their flow as a delegate. So when we spoke to delegates, we realized that they are the cornerstone of OP governance. They really help us make most of the important decisions. And as we speak to them, we realize that they are also humans. They're not God creatures. Sometimes they will forget to vote on something. Sometimes they do make mistakes, and sometimes they get busy and forget about a vote or forget to participate in important discussions. And also, for some OP delegates, they're also delegates for other projects, and these projects do compete for the delegates' time. So they only spend a fraction of their time on OP. As a result, they do tend to not spend as much time as they wish them to. So Tribuni is built to solve that very simple problem. We are a Telegram bot which promises to send our delegates all the governance news going on from Optimism, as well as all the other projects. So they will never miss a vote. The UI looks like this on the poster on the right. There's a very simple UI where the bot will send you summaries of ongoing proposals, and you can go to vote with just one click. And also, since OP is our favorite project, we also built a OP forum digest where our delegates can access all the OP forum information at their fingertip, and you can see on the UI on the right, instead of super long posts, which may take minutes to read per post. We give them a very nice breakdown of TLDR. The post doesn't really show that, but there's a TLDR which allows them to catch up to the thread within a minute. And then there's a very quick community summary, which just shows how many people has replied to the post and how many people expressed optimistic feelings versus not so optimistic feelings. So this way, we believe that delegates can spend way less time and stay just as informed as they want to be. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the project. So far we have, I'm gonna show the metrics right now. So far we have registered 31 known OP delegates. We have captured their Ethereum address, and we know that they represent 30 million OP votes combined for our platform. Last time I checked, I believe the total votable supply is around 80 million. And then for most recent votes, just about between 40 and 50 million votes go in. So we did capture a large chunk of active delegates. Out of our users, 44 of them are subscribed to OP, and then we have summarized just over 1,000 governance posts for them. And then since we're a platform not just for OP but for other platforms, I'm just gonna quickly show the metrics from other platforms as well. OP is definitely our favorite project. We have the most subscribers, and we have summarized 25 votable proposals and send alerts to our subscribers. As for overall users, we have launched since May 30 and have now garnered just over 70 users. So yeah, since we are doing the RetroFunding, we have reached out to our users to give us attestations. Out of the just over 30 OP delegates, more than half of them, 16 of them, give us a favorable favorable attestation for the RetroFunding round 6. So I'm convinced that our project does provide value for our delegates. So if you are listening right now and not on Tribuni, I strongly suggest that you take a look. Take 2 minutes to subscribe, and you'll never miss anything important from OP. And I'll drop a link in the chat. And that's it. I didn't take 5 minutes, so any questions, I can take them.
All right, sounds great, Ken. I see him on your shared screen as well. Some this, yeah, it's making me a bit dizzy right now because I see myself in slow-mo. I don't know if you want to stop sharing your screen, but really cool to hear about your work and the Telegram bot that you built. Yeah, it looks really nice. So thanks so much for sharing that. As you said, you didn't take the full time, so if any of you guys have any quick questions or anything like that, then feel free. Or if there's anything else you wanted to add, Ken, to conclude, you can do so as well.
I'm good.
Okay, well, sounds good. I'm looking forward to diving deeper into it, and love to see the tools being built and the tools that have been built and have been used and made an impact for delegates to make life easier. So thank you very much, Ken, and thank you everybody so much for all the excellent presentations and excellent work today. I saw Gloria joined from OpenRank, and she was planning to present, but then she left. So I guess maybe she figured it was towards the top of the hour. So maybe she'll present
She
tomorrow.
said she had some tech issues.
Oh, she had some tech issues? Okay. I was gonna say we could potentially extend it for her presentations, maybe 5 or 10 extra minutes, but I don't know if she'll join again. I suppose I can conclude with a wrap-up presentation. I want to make sure we're respectful of everybody's time. So I can give a little presentation to wrap us up. And also, if anybody does have any quick questions or comments for anybody that you want to share, if there's anything you're curious about, then feel free. Of course, if anybody needs to get going at any point, then that's okay too. We appreciate you being here. So maybe I'll leave just a couple seconds here in case anybody wants to jump in with any thoughts or questions or anything here, and then I'll get in my presentation to help wrap us up.
I'll just mention that Delegate Match received a $2,500 grants council grant from Optimism, and we're going to be using that to reward users of our platform. So go over there and Delegate Match XYZ and go through the process, and you might get some OP.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for letting us know, Sweet. And I imagine that you got that grant facilitated by CharmVerse as well. So nice to see some collaborations between the public goods creators here. And I suppose if anybody else had any last comments, I see Rosemary said that Gloria mentioned she'll join tomorrow. Ken shared the link, tribuni.versal.app, where people can learn more. I saw other people shared links above too. So thanks all for sharing the links and everybody presenting. If anybody want to jump in with any thoughts, then feel free. Otherwise, I'll get into sharing a little wrap-up presentation and we'll be on our way. All right. So we just heard from public goods creators on Optimism contributing to Optimism Collective Governance. We heard about Delegate Match, deliberative processes. We did not hear about OpenRank. Maybe we'll hear about tomorrow, but we did hear about OpenRank yesterday, as well as Optimism Fractal and also the OP Delegate, the OP Security Council too. And we heard 2 projects from CharmVerse and GovXS, and we didn't hear Boardroom either. They were last minute. And then we heard Ken from Tribuni. So thanks everybody so much for all the wonderful presentations and pitches. We're going to be doing this again tomorrow as well, so everybody's welcome to join. If you haven't yet registered, if there's any people watching who want to register, then feel free to do so. I'm just trying to find it. I thought I pulled up the thing, but I didn't. Okay, very eloquent, I say. I thought I pulled up the thing. Yeah, so the next event will be tomorrow at 14 ETC. And the videos from this event and yesterday's event will be released shortly, and we'll tag everybody on Twitter too to help raise awareness. And hopefully this helps badge holders and guest reviewers also evaluate impact as well, having these short presentations. So thanks everybody so much for all the wonderful pitches and all the wonderful work. You can learn more about RetroPitches on the gov.optimism.io forum post, as well as on retropitches.io as well. And you can learn more about, Optimism Town Hall and all the links I shared before. I want to once again remind people too, we have a grant, the team Optimistics team who's hosting this too, for Optimism Fractal, the respect games that we hosted and all the consensus decisions we did on chain, all the builders that have contributed, as well as the Optimistics tools, Optimism Town Hall and Eden Fractal events. So we'd appreciate if you check that out, any badge holders watching or your viewers, and you can find links to all these in more detail in that forum post too. So just want to put that out there because we're trying to raise awareness basically, because right now those aren't in the application. But anyway, this has been a wonderful presentation and wonderful day hearing retro pitches from all the presenters today. So I think we can probably wrap it up. Invite everyone to join again tomorrow and invite everyone to explore the work from all the public goods creators today. Thank you so much, everybody, once again, for being here and all your great work over the past year. I think we can wrap it up. A lot of times we like to wrap it up in a fun way. We go like 3, 2, 1, and then we say like go optimism. So if everyone would like to join, I see we got hearts and rockets and stuff like that. Does that sound good to everybody? Maybe we'll go 3, 2, 1, go optimism together and wrap it up. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, I'll count down. 3,
3, 2,
1,
1.
0.
Go
And
optimism.
go optimism. All right, thanks so much, everybody. See you.
Thank you. Bye bye.